Welcome to Commander Central, episode 100, and today we are going to live brew a deck here on the show and give it away. I'm Dana.
I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.
Episode 100.
We did it.
100, that is insane.
Peace out.
That's it, we're done. We're leaving. Leave on a high note.
Yeah. Well, let's hope this is a high note.
By the way,
Right.
we are currently accepting applications for a new host because for some reason I was supposed to fire Max today and I don't remember why.
I remember why.
Do you?
I couldn't remember what movie we were talking about last night in line, and you were trying to get me to guess Twister.
Oh yeah, Twister. Yeah, you're fired.
How are you guys talking about Twister waiting for Endgame?
Because we stood in line for 2 hours, and what else do you talk about?
I
Oh,
suppose.
no, there's people going by us to go see Pet Sematary, and we're like, why don't you come and see this movie? And I'm like, losers, move on. And he's like, what movie's that from? I'm like, really? So I started naming like actors and all that stuff, and he still didn't get it.
I would have remembered the line, but I wouldn't remember it was from Twister. But I remember the line.
Yeah. So I just IMDb'd like an actor. You mentioned Bill Paxton, so I IMDb'd him. I'm like, when did it come out? And you're like, oh, like early 90s. Like, oh, you're talking about Twister.
Well, we probably should, first things first, mention the Super Friends showdown we had last week.
Oh, no.
3-player Super Friends game. The victor, Amanatu, at the end, takes the game.
Yep.
Indeed.
Grinds it out.
So when we start video, our very first video that we
Did you
do.
replay that game?
No, I'm going to have a crown that I'm wearing. That says,
We'll get you
that
a
says
Burger
Build
King
Off
crown.
Champion.
Yeah. We'll customize a Burger King crown for you. Everyone's deck did things, and actually, considering it was 3 Super Friends decks, it wasn't like it was no one was accomplishing anything. There was a ton of stuff that happened.
Lots of answers to everybody.
I kind of raced ahead, and then basically it was Arch Enemy.
The mono white player raced ahead.
Right, exactly. Although I've had a lot longer to play with the deck and get it in position.
Yeah.
But then Chris eventually slowed things down with I just forgot the name of the card.
The Immortal
The Immortal
Sun.
Sun. And then like 2 turns later, Max copied it.
Yep.
So I was just sitting there accomplishing absolutely nothing.
I give you guys fair warning that was in the
did.
deck.
Yeah.
But eventually, I had a couple Planeswalkers out. And then I played a couple more, and I just kept proliferating them because I'm like, well, at some point I'm going to be able to hit the Immortal Suns and take them out. And I was trying desperately to get down to either Austere Command or
Cleansing
Nova. And Chris countered one of them. And then we got to a
One
point.
of my 4 counter
Yeah.
spells.
And then we got to a point in the game where I had a ton of cards in hand and a scroll rack out. And basically I needed to scroll rack, and I had about a 50% chance to hit something that would have saved me, and I didn't hit it with the scroll rack. I think 2 times I tried it, and neither time was I able to get there and get to either the second board wipe to deal with your counter spell or a momentary lapse.
Memory lapse.
The white counter spell to counterspell your counter spell. And I just couldn't get there. And then what did you finally win with?
Mass manipulation.
Mass manipulation to take my Planeswalkers, all of which had like 14 to 16 counters on
And
them.
then I was just going to sit back until I hit like approach the second sun, or if you hit a removal spell for my Immortal Sun, I was just be like, cool, alt this Planeswalker, alt this Planeswalker.
And one of them was Ugin.
Yep.
At that point, it was just over. We couldn't turn the corner. Although I tried at the last second, I got a Gideon Champion of Justice out. And I was trying to roll him up to 15 in one turn with proliferate effects. And
Yeah, because the Immortal Sun did go away for some.
Yeah.
I don't remember how, but
I finally got the Austere Command off.
That's right.
But the next turn, but it was after he'd already taken control of
your stuff.
my stuff, so it didn't do me any good. But I was trying to get Gideon out and roll him up to exile all permanents, but I couldn't get there. I couldn't get the 9 counters on him in one turn. But I got it close. I had it to like 13, I think.
Yeah.
But that was when we scooped. So it was a pretty good game. I don't know if anything would have been like,
No.
You kind of had to do what you did to lock me out. But when you did that just helps Chris grindy deck. I mean,
Yep.
But like, what are you going to, you had to choose.
Yeah, for the first half of the game, Chris was always my target for Tasigur choosing because he was pretty far behind on board for the first like 8 turns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, he's just going to give me stuff to help deal with Dana. And by the time I needed to start having you pick stuff, there was enough not so great cards in my graveyard that
Growth Spiral.
you didn't care that I kept getting back.
You cast Growth Spiral 6 or 7 times that game.
I pulled all but 3 lands out of my deck.
It wound up being actually, I was thinking it was going to be a kind of a boring game just because it's 3 Super Friends decks. It wasn't. It was a fine game.
Yeah.
I had a good time. So now you guys can tune those decks and definitely be better than mono white. But it was fun. We had a new song at the top of the show here. I will give credit where credit is due. That is Retro Future Dirty by Kevin MacLeod. And my son picked it out. He likes Kevin MacLeod. Guy does a lot of songs for a lot of games he plays. Just Shapes and Beats is the most recent one. So he was really specifically wanted a Kevin MacLeod song. So I did a web search, and the guy actually will license out songs to stuff like us. So I licensed that song. And so that is our new one at the top of the show. If you were unfamiliar with that music, that should be our theme intro music moving forward.
Awesome.
And the logo got updated everywhere in the last day or two. By the time this goes live, that should be up on all our sites as well.
Yes.
And we can put a picture of the tattoo out.
Yeah.
This will air on Monday, so we'll post that to social media as well.
Yeah.
Because they're mostly healed over. I have a little bit of dead skin on mine, but looking pretty good. How's yours?
Mine's ready to rock and roll.
Chris did not get one because he's unable to get tattoos, so we're just going to draw something on him with a Sharpie. For Madison, if you want to check it out on Chris's, that's how you'll find Waldo. He'll have the hand-drawn tattoo.
I might have you guys do it like a whole back piece. Be like, where's yours? I'm just going to take it off. No, it'll be a tramp stamp. That's what I'll do in just a minute.
I was thinking a forehead, right across your forehead.
Yeah, that'll be how you find Chris at GP Madison. He'll be the shirtless guy with the hand-drawn tattoo in his back. Should be pretty easy to find in that room. He'll be the guy that security's escorting out of the building.
I put deodorant on.
So if you want to find us on social media, how would you do that?
You can find us on Twitter at CMDR Central. You can find us on Facebook by searching CMDR Central. You can find us on YouTube searching CMDR Central. And you can find us online at cmdrcentral.com.
You can also head over to patreon.com/CMDR Central. Check out our reward tiers and stuff like that. We do have a new patron to announce, and I was forewarned. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong no matter what.
Right. He gave us advance warning that you're going to mess this up.
But let's see if I can do this. Kevin Volchik.
That's what I read it as, so that's what I would have guessed. We will see if that's correct or not.
Yes. So thank you, Kevin, for supporting the show. And of course, if you join our Patreon, you can join our chat on Slack, talk to us about War of the Spark or any decks you're building and want some help with.
We actually had two people that didn't know one another that found that they lived in the same town and played in the same shop just on different nights.
Yeah.
In our chat, and they're like, oh, we should come play. So they're now playing together. So maybe you will find someone in your shop that you didn't know was playing there that played Commander. We're also on Flipside Gaming.
Yeah, head over to flipsidegaming.com. Use promo code CMDR in all caps to get 10% off all orders, $10 or more. They have their War of the Spark stuff up. They have Modern Horizons available for pre-order, I think, still.
Yep.
Along with all singles and gaming accessories. We also want to say thank you to Flipside for giving us a heck of a deal on the bundles we're giving away this month for our contest. So we're giving away a bundle on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon this month.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And thank you, listeners, for making all this possible. One listener in particular I will briefly thank again is patron supporter David S., who hooked us up with a really sweet Aaron Kane custom wooden deck box. And the deck we build today is going to go in that box to give away to some lucky supporter. So thank you very much to David for that. Any other final business here before we move into brewing this deck that might take a little bit of time? We'll see.
Yeah, so I guess we have one more thing. We are going to be launching a Teespring campaign.
Yeah.
With some, I think we talked about this on last week's show. I can't remember. But that will be live today when this airs. So head over there, check out some merch, a t-shirt and a sweatshirt that'll be available.
We'll put a link up there on social media for everybody too.
Yep. So that'll help support us a little bit, and you finally get some Commander Central swag.
Absolutely. Let's make a deck. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, let me open the random number generator.
So we rolled this off. We removed Feather from the equation.
Yep.
And the commander we came up with was Roalesk. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Sure.
The Apex Hybrid. Roalesk, Apex Hybrid. So for those who don't remember, that is the Simic commander. 2 green, blue, 5 mana total for a human mutant, flying and trample. And when Roalesk enters the battlefield, put 2+1 counters on another creature you control. When Roalesk dies, proliferate, then proliferate again. So, what do you guys think?
That dies trigger is going to be kind of fun to play around with. So
I think there's kind of 2 routes to go here. Super Friends or Infect was the one that kind of jumped out at me when I saw him.
That'd be kind of fun.
Because I've never seen a Simic Infect deck. I've seen people do it with black-green and Golgari, or I've seen it before in Sultai, but I can't think I've ever seen actually the one that's just in blue-green.
At least not in Commander.
Yeah, right.
Modern.
And we just got a bunch of new proliferate cards, so I think that's what we're going to try to do here. Does that sound good, everybody?
I'm good with it. Chris used to play Infect in Modern, so this should be
Yep.
right up his wheelhouse.
I just watched a couple decks this morning on the Mythic Championship that were
Nice.
some interesting Infect decks. So first things first, I think we want to throw some lands in the deck. Does that make sense just as a starting point here?
36 basics, 18 of
34.
each.
34. Split the difference of 30. I don't know. 34, I would say.
That's way too low.
That's too low. 36 or 37 is kind of roughly what I was thinking. Does that sound close to what you guys think?
I think 36 is great because we're in Simic, so we're going to probably
We'll have
build
land
some
ramp.
ramp into
That makes
the
sense.
deck.
So going over the usual land list here, I think we probably would put in a breeding pool.
Yes.
I usually start with shock lands, particularly right now because they're relatively inexpensive.
No tropical?
So,
No trop. Sorry, lucky listener.
yeah. Before we keep going, I apologize to all the listeners. You're going to hear my keyboard.
You will hear keyboard sounds because we're literally doing this on this. We're not just like saying we're doing it live. We're figuring out as we go.
Yes.
Learn how to type quieter, like I do when we're in the middle of a show.
I got chiclet keys. I can't help it.
You should see my keyboard that I have on my PC.
The mechanical keyboard?
Yep, that I use. It's my gaming keyboard. Click, 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 click.
I sold mine to my boss because his office flooded during the melt this
Yep.
spring. So he's like, "Oh, I want a mechanical one." I'm like, "Well, I don't have one. I have one I'm not using because it's too loud to put here on air."
Oh, sure.
And so he used it for like a month. He goes, "Yeah, I'll keep it. Here's some money."
Nice.
So
Nice.
Okay. Flooded Grove is relatively inexpensive, and after the reprint they had recently, I think I would run that for sure in this deck.
because that's the filter land, right?
Yeah. I'm using Mana-Based Crafter, which is a site we've recommended before, and I'm just kind of going down their list and seeing what lands I usually put in this kind of deck that jump out at me. I'm scrolling past the deserts right now. Scavenger Grounds. I always say put it in deck. I think we should put Scavenger Grounds in the deck. Temple of Mystery.
Yes.
Comes into play tapped.
The scry is going to be big.
I think Scry is really useful, and I think part of the thing here too is because we're enemy colors, we have a lot less options for dual lands, and we're of course not using Tropical Island. We're not going to probably have a good fetch land.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the Karoo in this deck?
I think it's slow.
Well, maybe put a pin in that and come back to it if we think we don't have enough.
If I were to do it, it would be Simic Growth Chamber, which is the bounce land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe skip that one for now. Or what do you guys think? Or do you want it in the deck?
I think we should skip it for
Because
now.
we do have enough ramp. It is green. I don't know if we need that land particularly. How about the fast land, Botanical Sanctum? I don't love those
I
necessarily in
don't
Commander.
either.
Because so many times they come into play tapped.
And there's no blue-green check land, is there?
There is.
Yeah, there is. Hinterland Harbor.
Yep.
Okay, I would rather run that one over
Yeah.
the other one.
I would put Hinterland Harbor in there as well. Painland, Yavimaya Coast. I think that's worth running.
I think they're always worth running. And
Yeah.
if you have them, I think they're perfectly good to run.
I totally agree. Because they never come into play tapped. And also it's one of those things, by like turn 4 or 5, very often you're just tapping it for colorless and it doesn't hurt you. But I
Right.
mean, you can afford to give a few life, but it very rarely makes a difference as far as I can tell. Yeah, otherwise it's pretty limited for duels in blue-green. Command Tower, I think we probably are going to put in there for sure, I would say.
Why would you put Command Tower in a commander deck? That makes no sense.
It goes in every command. It does probably go in every commander deck, dang near. I mean,
How do we feel about Alchemist Refuge? Since we're going Infect, is there stuff we really want to be able to flash in?
I think we have room for it. I don't think we're going to have a surplus of colorless lands. I think there's probably room for it in the deck. So yeah, I think that's a good one to add. I would say Rogue's Passage for utility lands.
Oh, that's for sure.
Squeaking through that extra damage is probably a pretty big deal.
Knowing that Roalesk has a dies trigger, which means we're either going to have to figure out a way to pack in a bunch of recursion out of the
Yep.
graveyard, or we're going to have a lot of steep commander tax. I know it's a pricier card, but would Command Beacon be worth it in this deck?
Yes, probably, because you're going to want to be able to cast him.
Right.
Like there's going to be times when you're just going to have the sack outlets on board and you're like, I'm going to kill him and do it again and kill somebody if they've got a few effect counters on him.
Okay.
That's a good call. And speaking of sack outlets, I would say probably High Market to give you a sack outlet on a land. We have room there. It's a way to not have to use up a deck slot really for it. It's 2 colors. We can afford colorless. Same thing, Mirroring the Moaning Well is also a sack outlet on a land. It's not as good as High Market because it costs 3 to activate. But again, I think we have room for a few utility lands. Let's see, is there anything else really that's kind of a weird land I hear that I think is worth? I'm scrolling down. Sorry, we'll probably have a little bit of dead air as we think out loud here, as we're going over a list, because like I said, we're literally doing this as we go.
I mean, this is a card we talked about yesterday in our chat. Homeward Path. Are we worried about someone taking Roalesk because they're gonna have to kill it no matter what?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think that's not a bad idea.
I mean, and we might have other beaters in this deck where
Sure.
we don't want people taking it.
No, that's not a bad one. All right, I think maybe at that point, I think we've gone through most of the ones that don't come into play tapped. I mean, there's like the lifelands and stuff, but I don't know if we need to run those.
No.
I think this deck is not going to be super heavy on the requirements for mana. I think a few land destruction lands isn't a bad idea.
Ghost Quarter
And Tech Edge, because everything else is pretty pricey.
Yeah, I don't think we want the gain of life lands just because based on infect I've seen in other colors in EDH. Once you've pulled that trick out of your sleeve, everybody's going to be gunning for you.
Yes.
So we can't afford to have stuff come into play tapped if we need to finish off killing 2 more opponents after we kill someone else.
Inkmoth Nexus.
Yeah.
Does give you an infect guy that's attached to a creature. So what does that put us out for lands? Are we at a total here?
We are at 16 lands.
16
before
lands.
Basics.
Okay, so it's pretty easy at that point. We could just say 10 of each to take us to 36.
Yeah.
10 of each basic. If we want to tweak it later on because something pops up in our minds, then we can do that. But that's probably a good rough start for a first pass. So 36 lands, that's going to give us 64 slots to go.
Yep.
What's next? What do you want to look at? Should we move into ramp?
I'm fine with that.
Because we're going to want a good bit of it, I would think. What card did you just we just
You
mention?
guys build decks so much different than I do.
So where do you start?
I would start with the creature base, especially if you're going to be playing Infect.
So
you need to have a solid creature base before you go.
Let's jump over and look
into
at
other
creatures.
stuff.
Because I think also there's 2 categories of creatures we want to look at here. Ones that have proliferate and ones that have infect.
Yes.
And we want to get infect on the person right away. So maybe let's start there and see what we have for infect creatures. Using Scryfall and just filtering I filter by poison because there's a few older creatures that have poison. So we might as well keep those in mind. Blight Mamba right away, I would say is the first one I would throw in. Particularly because it's only 2 mana, 1 in a green for 1/1 with infect.
With Regenerate, that could be
Regenerate
huge.
2 is really, really useful, and if you drop that on turn 2, you're probably going to be able to smack somebody on turn 3 and at least get 1 counter on them. And you can sometimes in this deck, I think maybe that will be enough.
Yeah. I think Blighted Agent is another one.
For sure, Blighted Agent.
Another 2-drop. This one's unblockable.
Yeah, again, same thing. You get Blighted Agent down and nobody responds to it. You're going to get at least 1 counter on 1 person. And I think that at that point, you probably want to be spreading them around.
Yep.
And you're going to let Proliferate do a lot of the work later on.
So the way I'm seeing this deck in my mind is your goal is to at least get each person with 1 counter.
Yes, I agree.
If you can hit them with another infect creature later, cool. But as long as you get each person with 1 counter, then you can start proliferating.
Yeah, and you might find yourself like you might be able to just do that to kill them. Blight Widow, same thing. I think it's efficient enough. It's 4 mana for a 2/4 with a reach and infect. Maybe we'll find we have too many creatures, and I would maybe cut it at that point. But I think it's not bad. What do you think of Carrion Call? It's an instant for 4 mana that creates 2 1/1 infect tokens.
4 mana for 2 1/1s. I mean, it's okay.
I don't love it, but I
think we should save that for later because it's an instant, and there might be other pump spells we just would rather play on our infect creatures.
Okay.
You guys do build this different than me. I consider those cards creature cards. If the card specifically creates a creature, I consider it as a creature card in the creature card slot.
I would kind of call it a creature too, but I think it's maybe not necessarily that good a one. So I'm going to put it aside. Maybe we'll come back to it if we think we have too few creatures later on.
What was the first creature we named? The Mongoose, right?
The first one was Blight Mamba.
Blight Mamba.
Then Blighted Agent, then Blight Widow.
Okay, I'm current. I switched to a spreadsheet.
Okay.
So we have a number count, so we know how many cards we're at.
I think Ichor Mirror needs to go in here.
Which one is that?
It's a 2 mana 1/1 with infect artifact. Yeah. Whenever he becomes blocked, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So if you have a way to give trample, people are just not going to want to block him. Period.
Right. No, that's a good call. That's a good one. I think Core Prowler is probably worth running. He has infect, but when he dies, you proliferate. He's only a 2/2 for 4 mana, but that's still probably good enough. And the fact that if somebody blocks him and he dies, you're still probably going to be able to bump up some poison counters. What do you think of Corpse Cur? 4 mana for a 2/2 as well with Infect, but when it enters a battlefield, you return target creature from Infect from your graveyard to your hand.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ability to regrowth is really going to be something that's going to help this deck out.
Corrupted Conscience, which is basically mind control magic. It's 5 mana to gain control of a creature, but it gains Infect. Take away someone's blocker or take away a flyer or something with evasion. That seems like probably pretty good. It gives you one. I mean, it's doing double duty. It's removing something from somebody else, and it's giving you one more way to get Infect through.
I'm okay with that.
Which one did you just brought? You brought up Corpse Cur?
Yeah.
Did you talk about Core Prowler?
Both of them. Yep.
Okay.
We hit them both.
I'm scrolling way ahead of you, and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought there was a much better one than that.
I've been just going down the list here in alphabetical order.
Now, what do you guys think about this one? This is spicy tech.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if this card's like super spendy anymore. I know it used to be, but Malira to keep people from taking your infectors and killing you with them.
I think that's maybe a meta call. I think like the average player isn't, because number one, even if they take your stuff, they're probably going to have to hit you. Most of the stuff isn't that big.
Right.
They're going to have to hit you so many times. The odds of them also having proliferate effects.
Okay. Yep.
I think she makes. I get what you're saying, but I don't know if it's going to happen often enough to be a big deal. Glistener Elf.
Yeah.
One drop.
one,
Being able to drop it on 1,
yeah.
I think is probably worth it. I think of Grafted Exoskeleton, which is equipment that gives a creature +2/+2 and Infect.
Could put it on Roalesk.
That's the one thing I was thinking is your commander comes into play who has flying and trample, and being able to put that on your commander before you sacrifice him, swing in, and then do the sacrifice for the proliferate is probably worth it.
Right. And it's actually a sacrifice outlet.
Yep. You unequip
You
it.
can put it on
Yep.
something else.
No, that's
Yeah.
even better for sure. Good call. I'm still scrolling down here.
I like the Phyrexian Hydra, but I'm just partial to that when I tried building Infect years ago.
No, I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, because it can be 7 for that.
A 7/7 for 5, and then you can.
If you happen to have an overrun effect, that just kills somebody.
Yep. And it protects itself because instead of dying, you just put a -1/-1 counter on it.
I like that. That's a good one. Similarly, Phyrexian Swarmlord, I think, 6 mana for the 4/4, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a 1/1 insect token with Infect for each poison counter your opponents have.
Yep.
Opponents.
So there's times that's going to create a ton of 1/1s.
Necropede, I think, needs to be put in here.
I was wondering about that one.
Because the ability of when it dies, goes to graveyard.
Yep.
You put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, so then you can just proliferate that counter too to kill something that's really bothering you or something like that.
That's a good. Yeah, that'll work. That's good enough. What do you think of Pistis Strike as an instant? Destroy target creature with flying and its controller gets a poison counter?
I like it, but I don't because it's so limited. Honestly, if I'm going to run a removal, I'd rather run your basic removal that can hit anything.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Plaguemore, because it does tap for a mana. I mean, it's basically a mana dork, 2 mana, and has Infect.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to be a dead card. Putrefax, trample and haste.
I don't like that we have to sacrifice it at the end step.
But I think it's also going to pretty easily put a couple poison counters on somebody every time. It's also 5 mana.
Yeah, at the 5 mana slot, though, I think it's kind of weak.
Yeah.
Overall. Like, if it were like 4 mana.
Haste too, though, so if like someone board wipes,
Yeah.
you can sneak through after a wipe. I think I would run it.
I'll asterisk that one.
All right.
Put that in the maybe board.
All right. I don't know if Rotwolf is good enough. I don't think it is.
No, there's better card draw options in blue-green than Rotwolf.
Spinebiter.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 6 mana for an unblockable 3/4.
But it's always going to put 3. If it swings, it's always putting 3 on somebody because it deals combat damage as though it weren't blocked.
Yep.
I think I would rather run this over Putrefax, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Because it's always going to get through.
Sure. That makes. I'll go with that. I don't know if is Tangle Angler good enough for 4 mana for a 1/5. I don't think so.
No.
You're not on the blocking plan, in my opinion.
Tel'Jalad, Fallen, probably not. I think you run Triumph for the Hordes because it's an overrun. Your commander again, it buffs your commander and we're gonna have some proliferate guys in here that don't have Infect as well.
Yep.
I agree with that. Viral Drake. It has Infect and it has a proliferate ability built into it. I think that's probably worth it.
And Viral Drake.
I think that's about it. Virulent Sliver. All slivers have poisonous 1. So I guess it does.
No.
And it's a 1-drop. I don't know if that's good enough.
No, it's better if you have, because if you have multiples, then at least one's going to get through. Whereas,
So what's that put us at for creatures right now, Max?
Well, we're at 53 cards total right now.
Okay.
And let's see, except for Corrupted Conscious, so we're at 15 creatures.
Okay.
Does Viridian Corruptor make the cut? Because
I think it has to.
it has a destroy target artifact on it.
It's a 2/2 for 3.
We can put it in and see what it's... Because I do think we're going to have some good guys that have proliferate, but we'll see where we go, what that puts us up to.
Perfect.
All right. Moving on to look at some of those guys. Bloom Hulk is one of the new ones. When it enters the battlefield, proliferate. It's 4 mana for a 4/4.
That's really good value right there.
I think it is too. How about the Contagion ones? Contagion Clasp and Contagion Engine.
I would rather run Engine over Clasp.
I think so. I mean, 10 mana is a lot, but
We're in Simic.
but it's double counters too.
I'd rather run Clasp because when it enters, you put -1/-1 counter on target creature, so you have another counter to proliferate to kill something.
True.
Put them both in for now.
Okay.
Let's see where we're at. Later on, if we need to cut something, we can cut something.
Yeah, because it's just I like the lower mana curve in my opinion.
I do too. And I think those are probably pretty easy. Contagion Engine is a lot, but let's just see where we're at. Contentious Plan I like. Draw a card, 2 mana, and you proliferate.
That's the perfect card.
I think Courage in Crisis is probably good enough.
I wish it was an instant.
Yes, but still,
I think everyone does.
But I mean, I think there's enough times that you're gonna have somebody at like 8 or 9 or something, and that's gonna be maybe enough to kill them.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to pump. It could pump one of your creatures.
If we cut it, we cut it. But I think that's a fine one to have in right now.
We have to play Evolution Sage, right?
And Flux Channel, I think both of them are going to be disgusting in a infect deck like
they
this.
have to be. I mean, the ability, especially in green. Okay, I'm ramping. Let's put 2 lands into play with that awesome 4 mana. Put 2 basic lands into play. Tapped card
you'll
that
drop
Dana loves.
you'll drop Evolution Sage and then play your land for turn and then cast Sky Shroud Claim or something.
Yep.
Once we get to that point and add it and then do it again. I mean, that's 3 infect counters on people right there. Flux Channel is the same thing. We're going to cast ramp spells to trigger Evolution Sage and have Flux Channel also trigger.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think that's great. Fuel for the Cause.
Ooh.
It is a counter spell though.
I'd rather run some of the cheaper counters. So if we're gonna run counter magic, that'll give you card draw or something like that.
And holding up 4 for maybe proliferating is rough.
Okay. How about Gilpack Informant?
When it deals combat, I mean, it's a flying 1/1 that,
For 3 mana, it's got evasion.
and it proliferates when it deals combat damage.
Yeah. I think that's probably good enough. At least for this draft. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll pull it out, but I would add that in for now. I think Inex Tide is too much. I think 5 mana is too much. But what do you guys think?
I found a land that we missed.
What's that?
Karn's
That's
Bastion.
true, yeah.
We'll cut a basic for that.
All right. We'll add that for sure. What do you guys think on Tide? I think Tide is more than I would like.
Tide's too slow. You really have to play around it when you're the
Yes.
caster. If you waste turn 5 playing this and you have no way to
And someone
cast something
removes
else,
it?
yeah, you have to be able to do something right away.
Like choosing between that or Fuel for the Cause, I'd rather have Fuel for the Cause because I would always kill a spell with it. You always
Right.
stop something from happening and put a counter on them. And I don't know if I love Fuel for the Cause. How about Kiora's Dambreaker? 6 mana is too much.
Nope.
Merfolk Skydiver. 5 mana to activate it.
I'm really torn on this one
So am I.
because the ETB is really nice.
Yeah.
So you could make it a 2/2 for 2 and then 5 mana proliferate, but
I mean, I'd rather just sink that mana into Karn's Bastion
I would probably agree.
or Contagion Clasp or
Yeah,
Contagion
I
Engine.
agree.
or Archimeth's Refuge, anything we're going to need
Yep.
extra mana for.
Plague Maw Beast is an old one. Tap, sacrifice a creature and proliferate. I think 5 mana, and you can't use it till next turn is probably too much.
But it's also a sack outlet.
That's true. Sacrifice your
For
commander,
Roalesk.
so you're going to get triple. Well, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
We'll asterisk that one
All right.
too.
Okay. I think Plain White Celebration. You
Trash
run.
card.
But I mean, that kills. If someone's at 6, that kills them and gets everyone else close to dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pollen Bright Druid. It's a 2 mana proliferate. Put a counter on a creature. I'm not sure. What do you think?
2 mana. I don't think it's valuable enough at the 2 mana
I would
slot.
tend to agree.
If we could abuse it, sure, but we can't.
I would run Steady Progress.
And Tezzer's Gambit.
Well, yeah, I'd run them both. I'd run Throne of Geth.
Yeah. I mean, it did work in our Super Friend
Yeah,
game.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a ton of artifacts in this deck, but I think 2 mana to sack itself to roll for it is probably worth it sometimes. Plenty of times. Thrumming Bird.
Trash card.
But we run it, right?
Yeah, I think we run it. Yeah,
I mean, we're running the other one.
and I think probably Viral Drake too.
I think we have that on the list already because that's a creature.
Oh, because that's infect. Yep, I think you're right. So that's probably enough creatures for the most part, and they all do the things we want.
Yep, so we're at 67 cards total with probably 20-ish creatures because we're just doing this by the type, words on the card. So there's some sorceries.
I wouldn't worry about like overall number. We'll probably end up at like 120 cards.
And have to cut some stuff, yeah.
Yep.
If anyone who builds an EDH deck that doesn't pull it off the internet, I guarantee this happens to you too.
And those last 3 cuts are miserable. So what's next?
Artifacts?
Soul Ring. I'd run a Soul Ring.
Soul Ring, Signet, Commander Sphere.
Yeah, although the only thing I would then say about those is they don't trigger the landfall guy who puts stuff on your
But it
guys.
triggers the blue one.
It does, but so does Nature's Lore, and so does Farseek, and so does...
That's the big thing I was thinking about too when you're like artifacts. Soul Ring I'm okay with.
Because it's so good, but I think for the most part I would run Spell Ramp because it does Land because it does both.
Yep.
So Soul Ring.
If I ran another one, it would be Commander Sphere just for the simple draw aspect off of it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or something like do we want to consider a couple of the ones that come into play with counters like Everflowing Chalice? Because if you have enough proliferate effects, you can pretty easily just accidentally turn that into a Thran Dynamo.
2 mana for 1 mana.
Yeah, I think that's really efficient.
That's not bad.
Yeah, okay. Fine with that too.
I don't know if we need to go to things like the 3 mana one that's Trip X or anything, but I think that one's not bad. I think Chalice is good enough.
Yeah, and Coalition Relic I think it's not enough.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little too early.
Soul Ring and Everflowing Chalice.
I think that's
done.
it.
Okay.
So how about Spell Ramp?
We run the basic 7.
Wait, I'm not done with artifacts yet.
Okay, what else do you want for artifacts?
We're going to need Lightning Greaves and that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, yes, our infectors are cool and all that, but a lot of infectors are weak.
Need to get something
And
through.
we need the haste.
Yep.
I think you want
Greaves and
you want
Boots.
Greaves, probably Boots, and maybe Whisper Silk. So
I was thinking about Whisper Silk, yep. Just another unblockable clause because we have the Rogue's Passage, so why not have another one?
Okay.
Yeah, those 3, I think.
So 5 artifacts.
Yeah, okay. So how about the Spell Ramp we were just talking?
Normal.
Explosive Vegetation.
The normal 5 to 7. I mean, I just go straight to my Dramoka deck, and the 7 I run in that.
So like Nature's Lore and...
Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Farseek.
Explosive Vegetation.
And then in your 3 mana slot, you run either Kodama's Reach or Cultivate.
Yep.
In your 4 mana slot, you run Sky Shroud
Vegetation.
Claim and Pier's Whim.
Oh, yeah.
And in your 5 slot, you run Hour of Promise.
Actually, that all makes sense because Hour of Promise can grab your Infect Land,
Yep.
Karn's Bastion,
So there's the 7 ramp.
a Sack Outlet if you need it. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I'm on board with all that.
I almost wrote on the list
I don't
Dramoka's
agree.
ramp, and I would know
Sure,
what that
right,
meant.
yes.
I don't agree. We need Explosive Vegetation in there.
No.
Just to troll me and a cancel at that point.
Well, then we
And
might as well
go with a
Manolith.
Right.
Oh, I'm game for this. Let's do it.
Okay, so removal?
Yeah, you guys talk removal while I type.
Beast Within, counter spells,
So Beast Within, I think for sure.
a Lignify, no, because Lignify still creates a creature that can block.
Yeah.
Prison in the Moon doesn't, though, and Song of the Dryads.
Ooh,
We
yeah.
could also think about
They're slow, but like they also
What about the 2 mana exile that gives them
reality shift.
mana? Or
It's instant speed. It's so good. Yeah, I would be really tempted to run that. So let's start Beast Within. You started with.
Yep.
Let's look at non-creature stuff first because we are going to want to deal with maybe enchantments and artifacts. I mean, we have you can go with Croson's Grip. You can go with Nature's Claim. You can go with
I like
the
a
Glamour
Croson's,
Unravel.
I like Croson's Grip because in this type of deck, you need that when you need to kill something, you need it gone, and that split second is going to be huge.
Okay, so Croson Grip.
Yep. So we're at Beast Within and Croson Grip. There's Incubation, Incongruity, which was in Allegiance. Split card, and the Incubation part is 1 mana. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you may put a creature card from among it into your hand and the rest on the bottom, so you can dig down to a creature. But the Incongruity part is an instant speed. You exile a creature, and its controller makes a 3/3 frog lizard. So it winds up, but it's
Wouldn't Rapid Hybrid, like the
more
destroys?
pontified. So
Yeah, I
the
think
question
those would
is,
be better because
are you ever going to use the Incubation part to justify paying 2 more mana for the
I'd
pontify?
rather run Adventurous Impulse or some along those lines where you get a land or a creature.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good enough. So Reality Shift, I would say that's better than Pontify or Hybridization for the most part because it's an exile effect.
Yep. Imprison in the Moon.
I would run one of those. It's
It
nice.
slows the troublesome commanders down.
Yes.
It's
like-
also any target.
Yes.
Yeah, if
And
they-
your planeswalkers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Same with Song of the Dryad for that matter. Like there's some decks when you Song of the Dryad, their commander, they are just screwed.
Yep.
I've strip mined it before.
So have I.
Right. Well, that's kind of a win too. Like if you force them to use a strip mine on their own commander,
Yep.
you're probably happy with that. So how about counterspells?
Arcane Denial.
Arcane Denial would be my very first choice.
Mystic Confluence. It's draw, it bounces
5
something.
mana is so much.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be leaving a
Maybe
ton of
we
mana
do
free.
run the Proliferate one then.
Yeah.
I don't like running a whole bunch of counterspells in decks at
No,
all.
I would agree. We don't. This deck does. It wants one or two.
Yep, because Arcane Denial nets you cards. Yes, it gives your opponent cards that you
But
counter the
It
spell.
replaces itself. It's an emergency.
Yep.
How about a Swan Song? It is 1 mana, solves problems.
Flyer for non-creature spell. Yes, because you're gonna. It would be that or negate. I
Yeah.
would choose because you want to get rid of the non-creature
Yeah.
spells because board wipes are gonna hurt you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other stuff's gonna hurt you.
I like Swan Song.
I think you can pretty easily, if you want to, run an original counterspell.
You could.
I think that would, and I think that gives us 3.
Yeah.
And then I would maybe say then Heroic Intervention too as a semi-counter that's going to stop people from taking
Wrath.
stop wrath, stop pinpoint removal from taking out something that's
Yep.
swinging through for lethal. So
I'm just gonna Rift. We have to, right?
man, I mean we don't have any good board wipes. So all we have is Mass Bounce. That's our only option.
Trash card. I don't even run that in my Anamatu deck.
I mean,
Yet.
Quiet over there.
asterisk it, but like we don't. There isn't just a lot of good board wipes in these
No.
colors.
No.
Ones that would be useful for us. There's like hurricane kind of effects, and I don't know if we want to be messing around in this deck doing mass like evacuation kind of bounces. Really,
No, because you're gonna run into the deck that's gonna have green creatures
Yes.
or blue creatures, and it's actually gonna set you back too far on your.
or they're
game
gonna have a
time.
bunch of ETB stuff like Max's Brago deck where he doesn't care for the most part. He'll
Yep.
cast it all again.
No, I don't care.
So, yeah, I don't mind the idea of Rift there necessarily. So we put 3 counters in. We have a little bit of removal. I think we need some draw probably at this point.
Okay, so this is a draw card too, but it's also removal. That 2 mana, destroy all enchantments draw card from M15.
I don't remember the name of it.
It's a 2 mana in green.
Sorcery speed, I
Yep.
think.
I do believe you draw a card, or maybe you don't draw a card, but it removes all enchantments.
I don't think we're gonna have a ton of enchantments in this deck, so that's not. And
That
there's
was
also
the other thing I was
It's also
thinking
just
about.
back to nature because it's instant speed
Yep.
and you can do it whenever. Oh,
Maybe it
that's
was back to nature. I'm thinking. I thought there was one that destroyed everything you draw a card. That's gonna bother me.
We're Scryfall and destroy enchantments. That's what I'm looking for right now.
all right.
And come on, internets, go.
Are you on the 5G?
Yeah.
Do you have a charger?
Yes.
They're horrible.
He's got a hamster wheel upstairs.
It's peak period.
Keeps it powered.
I just keep running, and I get out, and I didn't go anywhere.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, I must be mistaken then.
We could just throw back to nature in there.
Yep, back to nature I'd be fine with.
I rarely regret wiping away all enchantments.
In worst case scenario, it only takes out 2,
Yeah.
but you're getting rid of the one that you were worried about.
So a
Yep.
couple kill spells. I think we already threw Triumph of the Hordes in there.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Overrun, Overwhelming Stampede, both of them maybe.
Yeah.
I'd like Overwhelming Stampede over on the. Trip Green. Yes, we're in a 2-color deck, but sometimes that could make a difference.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd be tempted to run both.
We
Yeah.
want Stampede over Run or both.
Well, because I was thinking,
I'd say for now, put them both in. If we have to
because
clean
there's
something
also
out later.
biomass manipulation.
Biomass Mutation's not a bad idea either. We have a little bit of evasion here. We have things that can poke through. And again, there's going to be points in the game where you're like, oh, this is unblockable. I'm going to make it 11 and just kill somebody.
Yep.
Yep.
We have enough ramp. I think that. I would put all 3 in there for now, and we can remove one later if we need to.
Stampede, Overrun, Biomass Mutation. So,
Triumph of the Hordes.
and that's in there too. That was earlier.
Okay.
Do we want to run a couple like +1/+1 counter things, even though we're doing an infect? Because Roalesk puts +1/+1 counters on
Sure.
stuff. Because if we're worried about removal, Bane of Progress.
Yeah.
It's going to get large. We can proliferate its counters to keep it getting larger. I know it doesn't infect or anything, but it's a board wipe.
Sure.
If we ran that steel card, I don't remember how it read, but if it doesn't read your opponent's
It
control,
doesn't. You can control your
just
own stuff with
Yep.
it.
zap it onto
Yep,
him,
yeah.
and
Corrupted
all of a sudden
Conscience.
he's got infect.
Yeah, put Bane in Progress on there. Maybe that's not a bad idea.
I mean-
and it doesn't hurt to have 2 options for wiping artifacts and enchantments
Right.
either. That's fine.
I mean, even with our asterisk cards, we're still under 100.
Okay. I think we need some draw now.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Ristic Study.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Mystic Remora. Oh no, because
The Proliferate doesn't help you with Remora.
no, but it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It is way cheaper. I don't have any extraristics anymore neither.
I don't know if I do either.
I might.
Let's say
Well, you should, Blue Mage.
I'll put Remora in for now. Remora's so good anyway. The other thing I was thinking, 3 cards right away, because number 1, it couples with our desire to sack our commander. Greater Good, Life's Legacy, and Momentous Fall.
The only thing I have something to say about Greater Good is all these infect creatures
Are small,
so we're not going to net any cards off of them.
Right, but if I bet you'll get to the point in the game sometimes where you don't care because you're like, I'm just gonna sack Roalesk and play him, draw 4 cards, play him, sack him again.
Yeah.
And he does put counters on things too, so he'll make those smaller things a little bit bigger for sacrificing them.
So we said Greater Good, Momentous Fall,
And Life's Legacy. I don't know if we want all 3 of them, but they all 3 are pretty useful, and it's nice to have the option to sack our commander.
What's that 2-mana enchantment that you sack a creature to and reveal cards until you hit another creature?
Oh, the green one that was from, I think, Origins or something?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
not Evolutionary Leap, but
Actually, I think it's
it
Evolutionary
is.
Leap.
Yep. I'd actually prefer that over
Sure.
any of the 3 you just named.
Yeah, okay. I'm fine with
But
that.
I don't know which one.
There's also...
Is Momentous Fall sorcery speed?
Yeah.
No, Momentous Fall is instant.
And so is Life's Legacy.
Legacy sorcery speed, but it costs less.
I guess I would prefer to take out the sorcery speed one.
Because Momentous Fall is nice because you can do it in response to somebody
Right. A
board
board wipe.
wiping or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Harmonize. We're missing Harmonize.
Yeah, I would run it. Even though you're in blue and you have access to some of the blues draws, I think
Are we going to just want to put in that brainstorm, factor fiction, that kind of stuff?
I'd put Factor Fiction in.
Yeah.
I never feel like I'm drawing too many cards or filter too much stuff.
No, not you.
I don't think this deck is a Risk Cards Expertise deck. I don't think you have enough big creatures to utilize it. And it's a great
True.
card, but I don't know if this is a deck for it. What do you think? Maybe?
Most of our creatures top out at 5. If you can slap that Putrefax down for free while drawing 2 cards,
Sure. Yeah, I
mean-
guess you don't need to draw a ton from it
No.
to have it be decent.
I'm more concerned about casting something off of it more than anything.
Sure.
But it's up to you guys. I mean, it is 6 mana. That's a lot for maybe.
Yeah, I would put it in for now, and we can pull it out if we decide.
I'd rather run Seasons Past at 6 mana.
Yeah, we do need
To
to
recur that
we
kind
need
of-
to
That's some
work
recursion's
on
not
our
a bad
recursion.
idea.
So Seasons Past. I almost feel like Praetor's Council might be good in this because
That's a lot of mana,
it is
though.
a lot of mana. But a lot of our creatures are all in that 2 to 3 range. So how
Yeah.
many are we really going to get back?
That's true.
Plus all of our other cards. You're only getting 1 at each CMC for Seasons Past.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about just running shuffle effects then? Like your Elixir of Immortality, your counters. Is that the counterspell one? The 4-mana one? No, that's the mill one.
I would just think Elixir if the game's going that long. I just don't know if as an effect player, the game's you're not going to be allowed to do this that long.
Yeah.
I guess Seasons Past and like a regrowth would be what I would.
Sure, that makes sense. We're not doing a lot of abusive graveyard stuff to really necessarily make EWIT matter.
The only thing that concerns me is getting Roalesk back all the time because if we zone it, you don't get the proliferate triggers.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a death trigger. Does that mean it has to go to the grave?
Yes,
It has
to go to the graveyard.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
It's not a destroy trigger, it's
Right.
a death trigger. That's why you get away with it with the 8-mana board wipe, because it says when the creature is destroyed.
Yeah, the black one.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I knew that, but I was thinking that.
So maybe the elixir might be worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's not a bad point. So maybe we will need then more recursion, more stuff to chain us back out of the graveyard. Yeah. No, that's good. That's a good call. Yeah, and the plan isn't necessary to play like Roalesk isn't going to do all the work. The plan is to use that as a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need 20 of them,
would you
but we need
wanna
3 or
run-
4, I think.
What's that card that doubles triggers? The artifact. You run it in Brago.
Panharmonicon.
No.
That's ETB ones. Stronic Resonator?
Yeah. Does that work on death triggers?
I don't think so. It's
It's a copy triggered ability.
that's a triggered ability, so it should.
Because then you wouldn't have to have so much recursion for him.
Right.
You could have him hit, if you have that out, you hit them for 4
Yeah.
proliferates. Then later on you can do it again, hit
Yeah.
it for another 4.
Yeah. And it works with ETB as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it can double proliferate triggers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, I think.
I was just trying to think of ways that we could use his ability where we don't have to really focus so hard on recurring him from the graveyard.
Right.
Cauldron of Souls?
Does that go? Yeah, it does.
Because you're gonna persist everything.
Right.
They're gonna come back with -1/-1 counters on it, but then you have all your board. Essentially you have your creatures
No, that's
back.
actually not a bad idea. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's a kind of a bit of an investment.
But maybe you'll find out that it's too clunky and it doesn't work. But I think it's worth looking into. What are we sitting at now for cards?
We just under 110.
Okay, all right.
This is nothing. You should see me when I'm building a
I've
deck.
had those 140 lists before.
Evolution Charm is a recur. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
What else does it do? What are the other modes on it?
So search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, or return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or target creature gains flying until end of turn. So it will help those ground infectors maybe gain flying.
That would be the kind of pump spell I'd want.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Combat trick spell type of deal. Because it has multiple modes, so you don't ever have to. You're not stuck in one set aspect of it.
Do we run a Berserk now that we're talking combat tricks?
I don't think. I think you want Berserk when you turn that 8 power guy into a 16. I don't think it's that good when you're turning a 2 into a 4 or a 3 into a 6.
True.
Particularly for the amount it tends to cost.
So, we talked about Heroic Intervention.
Yeah.
What do you think about Simic Charm?
What are the 3 modes?
Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, or permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn, or return target creature to its owner's hand.
Ooh, I like
all
two,
3 of those.
yeah.
All 3 of those modes are useful in this deck for the most part. Yeah, that's a good one.
As soon as Max brought up the Evolution Charm, I'm like, oh, I wonder what the Simic one does.
So I like that better than something like Praetor's Council or...
Yeah, for sure. These cheap, effective...
Yes.
Yep, because you only have to have it work once or twice, and you pretty much have the game locked down. Because your other proliferate effects are going to take course, and worst case scenario, you just cast him and use him as a blocker and let him die that way. And
I like that. So, should we try to clean some of that? Should we try to chop this down now to 100 from where we're at?
Well, I mean,
or is there anything else we need to add?
Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm going to find
What
more
else you
stuff.
got?
Just you wait.
Because, I mean, with Simic Charm, we were at 110.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
I mean, so
I was expecting us to hit the 120 mark, so...
So roughly how many creatures are we at?
I didn't write types down. On
Okay, all right.
I love it.
Just because I'm trying to figure out where we should focus on making cuts now at this point.
1, 2, Blighted Agent, Widow, Mamba.
They should all be kind of in a cluster roughly.
Sort of, yeah.
So if we drop down to 26 lands, the problem solved.
We're in Simic. Let's just do it.
What do you think about Blade of Selves in this deck? Or Rite of Replication?
Blade of Selves, Kyle. Blade of Selves is so good.
Because all those tokens of Roalesk are going to die.
Rite of Replication. Rite of Replication just
Helm
kills...
of the Host.
I think Helm is maybe too slow because...
But it creates a copy.
It does.
So it has the proliferate effects, and then it's going to die.
So I think Rite of Replication and...
I would rather Blade of Selves. Out of those 3, I would prefer Blade of Selves because Rite of Replication, you have to pay for that kicker.
Yeah, but you just kill everybody that has a poison counter on them when it happens.
True.
Like, literally everybody dies at that point in time.
Yep.
So, of the 3, I guess, Rite and Blade. I mean, Helm is cool, but it makes it non-legendary, so it won't...
I would do Blade and yeah.
You have cards like...
There's also Infinite Reflection.
Oh,
When
no.
it enters the battlefield attached to a creature, each other non-token creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. So same thing, if you attach that to Roalesk, anybody who has poison counter just probably dies.
Yep. Well, I was trying to think of ways to finish off the game because there's going to come to a point in this deck where you're going to hit a stalemate.
Where you
and
can't
I saw
sneak
when
through.
I played your Atraxa Infect, where it's just like all of a sudden you hit a point, everyone's at like 7 counters, and you're just like, ugh, how do I get through?
That's why I think having a couple of those ones where you just like I can just take everyone from 6 to 10 and they're dead right now. I think Infinite Reflection does it. I think Rite of Replication does it. I think Blade of Selves does it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Infinite Reflection, Blade of Selves, Rite of Replication.
I was actually thinking about Blade of Selves for this deck too, and then I totally forgot it. Ugh, it's perfect. I think that card's kind of underappreciated in general.
I agree.
All right, Max, I want you to make these cuts now. I've done my part.
We'll be back next week, folks.
Yeah, this is the worst part.
What if we put the new Tameo in this deck?
What's her ability?
Her -3 is return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh,
and she comes in with 5. You'll proliferate her up to 6 or 7 with sacking Roalesk, return Roalesk. It's a loop.
What's her casting
Her
cost?
static is spells and abilities your opponent's control can't cause you to discard or sacrifice permanents.
What's her CMC?
4.
She's 4.
And her +1 really probably doesn't
Man,
apply to us.
and you're always going to get to use her. So like, you just treat it like a worst case. It's a regrowth that costs 4 mana.
Her +1 is probably not EDH. Isn't an EDH All-Star because it's choose a non-land card name, then reveal the top 4 cards of your library and put all cards with the chosen name from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. But her -3 right there is our recursion we want.
Yeah.
I found another cute little thing. There's a card called Sage of Hours that we could proliferate out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then
it's a win
taking
condition.
turns.
It's a win
'Cause
condition.
I thought about turns, like the turn spells, but I think that takes too much away from the deck.
Yeah.
But I mean, a card that you can just proliferate and then take an extra
Sage
turn
of
off
Hours requires no extra
Yep.
investment to just probably win games sometimes.
'Cause, I mean, you're on a game plan, so in my opinion, if someone's playing the Sage of Hours thing and they're on this infect game plan, I know they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
They're not screwing around. They're not just dirtling. It's going to actually happen. Now, if you're just sitting there doing nothing and like,
Right.
oh, I'm going to take 7 turns, and you're like, sure, well, thanks for wasting the next 15 minutes of my life.
But the only way we really have to get +1/+1 counters on Sage right now is through Roalesk itself. We really don't have any target.
Yeah, because it doesn't come into play with its own counters on
No,
it, right?
it's a heroic trigger.
True.
And
That's why it's running the Azuri list, because Azuri just puts
Or
counters
Azuri
on
himself counters it, yeah. Oh, that's a good call.
it. But I mean, I like the idea if we had more +1/+1 counter shenanigans.
But you have to invest, then we have to invest that anymore. 10 more
Right.
slots for that. I don't know if that's
And at
worth
that point, we might as well just go the +1/+1
Right,
counter
right.
route and run like a doubling season and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we think is, now that we've done this, got to this point, what do you guys think is worth cutting out of this deck?
Good question.
I think we might have slightly more creatures than we need, but I don't know which ones to pull.
Found another counter spell. If we we're going to run anything, we could run like Plasma Capture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's because it ramps us as well. Plasma Capture is worth casting sometimes, even if you don't give a shit about the spell.
Yep. Just
Like,
get the
I'm
mana.
going to Plasma Capture you and ramp 7 next
It's
turn.
the perfect, spite card. It's like, you won last game. I'm just going to counter the first spell you cast and get all this mana. Which, don't ever play like that. Please don't. Oh, I found something to replace Sage of Hours. Magistrate Scepter.
It does proliferate. It isn't standard right now.
Did no one think of Nim Deathmantle?
So, I don't think you can run it. Isn't it black?
No.
No. It's completely colorless. It just turns your guy into a black zombie.
Oh, then yes, we should have it in there for sure.
Because then you can just abuse him right there.
Right.
If they allow that to happen. I don't know how many times I've seen a Nim Deathmantle hit and they're just like, sure. And no one does anything and then they're like suited up.
And then
sack
Dana
it.
just wins.
Yeah, and you're like, why didn't you destroy that?
Okay. So, we got everything in deck stats now.
All right.
So, let's go through this. For lands, we have Alchemist Refuge, Breeding Pool, Command Beacon, Command Tower, Flooded Grove, 10 Forests, 1 Ghost Quarter, 1 High Market, a Hinterland Harbor, Homeward Path, Inkmoth Nexus, 9 Islands, Karn's Bastion, Mirror in the Morning, The Moaning Well, Rogue's Passage, Scavenger Grounds, Tech Edge, Temple of Mystery, and Yavimaya Coast.
And that's how many lands total? 36?
36.
I think that's good.
I think I removed an island for Karn's Bastion.
Okay.
If we want to flip it.
Nope, that works. Yeah, maybe maybe at the end we'll look and say, oh, we
Yeah.
have more green than blue, and we'll reverse that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Artifacts. Blade of Selves. Cauldron of Souls, Contagion, Clasp, Contagion, Engine, Elixir of Immortality, Everflowing Chalice, Grafted Exoskeleton, Lightning Greaves, Soul Rings, Trionic Resonator, Swiftfoot Boots, Throne of Geth, and Whisper Silk Cloak.
Nim Deathmantle.
We should add Nimbeth Manta, which we were just talking
And
about.
I think we can cut the elixir then.
I would have cut Elixir, and I'd be tempted to cut both the Contagion Clasp and Contagion
I was
Engine.
thinking the same thing.
When in doubt, cut things that are expensive
Yep.
to cast and or use. So hopefully that should take us down to roughly 108 or 109.
Okay, so Contagion Engine comes out, and Contagion Clasp comes out.
And Nim and Death Manta, which we just realized off the air here, in between, that is not a black card, doesn't count as black. So
And the
I might have,
Elixir
with
comes out.
the extra time that we had, I went to a wonderful site called EDH Rec and typed in the commander. And I was like, let's see what other people are playing. What am I missing? And I'm like,
I didn't even think that there was already Roalesk desk out there. That makes
yeah.
sense.
I was just sitting there. I'm like, what am I missing? There's something that I'm missing. And then I saw the Nim Deathman. I'm like, oh, dirt.
Yeah. No, I thought of it. I'm like, I actually mentally went, too bad we can't run Nim Death Mantle.
Okay, So we are down to, come on, deck stats, go faster.
So for everyone who is listening, though, I want to point out, like I said, I went on an EDH Rec to look at it. I don't ever copy decks, but there are times when I'm building decks and I'm just like, I'm missing something. There's got to be some good cards out there that I'm missing. So I'll filter through like everyone's decks and be like, oh, that card could work in the way that I want to play this. And then it's something to just keep in mind. You can add it to your list.
Or that stuff you've just forgotten. You're like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. I knew that was a good card. And some,
don't ever be afraid to use your internet resources to look up stuff. In my personal opinion, though, I don't like just copy pasting decks.
I don't either. But don't be afraid to just double check your work afterwards, because you don't start at 50 life total for doing it blind. Like, there's no bonus awarded to you for not using tools that are available.
Okay, so removing those 3 artifacts and adding Nim Death Mantle, we're at 11 artifacts now.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Yep.
Enchantments, we have Corrupted Conscience, Evolutionary Leap, Greater Good, Imprisoned in the Moon, Infinite Reflection, Mystic Remora, and Song of the Dryads.
I could see pulling the Mystic Remora.
Man, it's good, though.
It is really good. But out of...
I almost say pull the Song.
I was actually... Is Imprisoned in the Moon in there as well?
Yeah.
I was thinking Song. I don't know if we need both.
Yeah.
This feels like this is a deck, too, where like we are mostly interested in being aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not really a control environment, I don't think.
True, yeah. And if you're being hyper aggressive, then Mystic Remora is going to pay off for itself.
Yeah.
I say we cut Song.
Okay.
Because Imprisoned in the Moon does...
A close enough impression of that.
It's not as expensive.
Yes.
I think people won't be looking... Honestly, in my opinion, when I see green players sit down, even if it's green, blue, or something, I always think of Song of the Dryads, Lignify, all that, and I forget about Imprisoned in the Moon.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a card that could come out of nowhere and catch someone.
For sure.
All right.
I did find my missing Song of the Dryads.
You did? Where was it at?
Lucas had it.
Oh, all right. Like, you borrowed it to him, or
No,
he had it?
Flapjack?
Flapjack had it. Him and Sean came over one night, like a month and a half ago, to play. And
you used it on, you cast it on him?
He found it in his Maelstrom deck.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, when did I play Maelstrom? Like at my house, like 2 months. He goes, oh, so we've both been short and over a card for 2 months. I'm like, yep.
Nice. Okay, how about instants and sorceries?
Let's look. Instants. We have 16 instants. Arcane Denial. Back to Nature, which I forgot was an instant.
Yep.
Beast Within. Biomass Mutation. Counterspell. Rift. Evolution Charm. Factor Fiction. Heroic Intervention. Corrosive Grip. Momentous Fall. Reality Shift. Reclaim. Simic Charm. Steady Progress. And Swan Song. I think Reclaim.
Yep, because it goes to the top of the library.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on board with pulling that.
You had Regrowth in there, right?
That's a sorcery.
Oh, that is a sorcery.
But it is in here.
Why is that a sorcery, Wizards?
Because it goes to your hand.
Yeah.
So?
I know,
Have
right?
you seen the broken stuff they've been printing lately?
Right? Like that new 5-mana instant where you put 2 cards into your hand from your graveyard.
Okay. So I would pull that too. That's one that makes sense. And we're going to peel it down to like 103 or 104 here, and then we'll struggle.
Just send 103.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, just cheat. When in doubt.
Sorceries. Contentious Plan.
Corrupted Conscience is probably what that should be. You probably misspelled it, and that's what it auto-corrected it to.
No, this is the proliferate draw card for 1 in a blue.
Oh, Contentious Plan. Gotcha. Yep.
Courage in Crisis is put a +1/+1 counter on a creature.
Yep. And Proliferate.
Yep. And then we have Cultivate, Farseek, Harmonize, Hour of Promise, Nature's Lore, Overrun, Overwhelming Stampede, Pier's Whim, Plane-Wide Celebration, Rampant Growth, Regrowth, Rite of Replication, Seasons Past, Skyshroud Claim, Tezzeret's Gambit, and Triumph of the Hordes.
Might be a little too much ramp.
I don't know, because,
we're not dropping like 7 and 8 drops like Max does in Dramoka.
No, but Roalesk is already 5.
Then 7, then 9.
And then 7, 9. Late game, we're going to need the mana to cast. And some of the stuff that needs mana to like to proliferate, we want to have mana sinks for that. Like Karn's Bastion or the Drake.
How about one of the Overrun effects?
I would take out Overrun.
Or Triumph. 90% of the stuff has Infect anyway.
I agree with
not
that.
all of it, but enough of it does.
I gotta say, 3/4 of the creatures that we have Infect.
Okay. And it is only +1.
And you only have to get 1 counter on. That's the big thing that you need to stress with this deck. You only have to get 1 counter on each person.
Yeah, and then you can do a lot of work with Proliferate.
After that, the more you put in, it's just value.
Yeah.
Win more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triumph is gone.
All right.
See ya. Loser.
Now, if it was like +3/+3 and everything gains
Yeah.
infect, I'd be like, that stays in no matter what.
That's a mythic.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Not an uncommon. Okay, so removing Triumph, we're at 17 sorceries.
Okay.
The only planeswalker right now is Tamiel, Collector of Tales from War. It is a regrowth effect that, with our proliferate, is a lot.
She makes sense, I think.
And it's a deterrent for them not killing our infect creatures.
Right. I like that.
So now, creatures. We have,
Okay.
We have 23, and that's counting Roalesk.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, we could lose one or two there.
So we have Bane of Progress, which is a board wipe.
Yep.
Blighted Mamba. Blighted Agent. Blight Widow.
I think Blight Widow is a 4-mana 2/4.
Yep.
The reach is not that big of a deal. It's gonna, if it's a vanilla creature and it's a 1 or 2 drop, it's gonna sneak through. By the time you can cast Blight Widow, you're probably not gonna get through on anybody anyway.
And the reach is irrelevant.
The reach is irrelevant for what we're doing for the most part, so that's one I would cut.
Okay,
If
gone.
it were like a 4/2 with trample, I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
right, yeah.
And then, okay, so that's gone. So we have Bloom Hulk, ETB, Proliferate.
Yep. The 4/4 for 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Core Prowler, Corpse Cur, Evolution Sage. Definitely want that one.
Yep.
Flux Channeler,
Yeah.
Glistener Elf, Guild Pact Informant, Flying hits a player,
Oh, yeah.
Planeswalker, Proliferate, Ichor Claw Mirror. When it is blocked, gets +2/+2.
Yeah.
Necropede,
That's the one that dies. It puts a neg counter
Yep.
on something.
yep. Phyrexian Hydra, Phyrexian Swarmlord, Plague Mirror, Plague Maw Beast, Sacrifice a Creature, Proliferate, Tap Sack, I should say.
Yeah.
Putrefax, Spine Biter, Thrumming Bird, Viral Drake, and Viridian Corruptor.
So I think we have enough sack outlets. I don't know if we need the sack to proliferate creature. What do you think?
Do we have enough sack outlets?
I don't think
Maybe
we do.
don't. Maybe we don't then. Okay.
I think, does Glistener Elf get it done? It doesn't have haste. If that's late game, it's just a 1/1 body that's going to get
Yeah. At least
a chump blocker.
Thickenberg can tap for can be a mana dork.
right.
I mean, it's good if you have overruns and stuff, but we do have to make cuts.
I have an amazing deck in my mind right now. It's 5 colors.
5 color
Of course
infect
it is.
proliferate.
5 color infect proliferate, but it's gonna have all the the fire pyromancer effects on it where you equip it and tap it to deal 1 damage and be like, take 1 damage of infect.
Infect Timmy.
The core prowler is one that when it dies, you put a counter on something.
Core Prowler, when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, Proliferate. 4 mana for a 2/2 with Infect and that ability.
I think the infect,
Yeah, it has
Alone
both.
is
it's got
fine.
It has
infect on
both on.
itself.
That's useful.
both.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be one of those where they're not going to want to kill it.
Yeah.
Because
That makes
proliferate's
sense.
going to be annoying.
I feel like Ichor Claw Mirror might be the one we should cut because
I
That's
agree
the
with
dork.
that.
The dork.
no, it's not even a dork. It's a 1/1, and if it's blocked, it gets +2/+2.
We're not running
Oh,
enough
yeah, yeah.
pump spells or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was the reason I suggested it was in case we went the pump spell route.
right.
Sure.
Because he gets big, and then if he gets blocked and he has trample, he just gets even bigger.
That's the thing you berserk.
Yeah. Right. Or lure or something. But yeah, no, that's fine. What's that take us down to now?
106.
Ugh.
So, what do you guys think? Should we do it at like a 105 card deck
And just send it to him.
and send it to them
let
and
them-
have them?
And then
That's
they have to
the-
report back.
The easy way out.
I love you, everyone who listens. So,
Man, maybe let the. Well, it's the up. We let you customize it.
I feel like we're just going to get knocked down a peg in the content creation world.
for lasing out on this deck we built.
it just popped in my mind because you're like, we're going to get down to like 103 and it's going to be
I
really
knew it,
hard.
right,
And I was
yeah.
like, we'll just send it to him like that.
So I would say one more I would cut at this point. I think we have enough proliferate effects. I would cut Throne of Gath. I think it's a good card, but we need to make cuts. That's one I would for sure.
I think we might be overdoing the proliferate a little bit. I mean, yes, honestly, that's what the deck needs to
Yep.
do, but
I don't know if we have quite enough evasion that we are going to care about biomass mutation either. I think the stuff that we're going to give trample to will take care of it, and I don't think on its own. Occasionally, sure, you'll have a blighted agent out and you can make an 11/11, but like there's going to be enough times when
Okay.
there's just not enough creature with evasion that it makes a difference.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm good with that.
and we still have overrun itself in there,
Yeah,
correct?
right.
So
And
we still
overrun
have two
stampede.
overrun effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that taking us down to?
104.
Man, 4 more
Let's
cuts.
just cut 4 basics and we're good. 32 lands.
Now, if this deck, if we were running all low drops and the amount of ramp that we
Then
had
it'd
in
be
it,
worth
I
it.
would
Drop to
totally be
35
on
or
it,
something.
yeah.
We have plenty of ramp and
Yep.
stuff, but I don't know if we're
No,
We
there.
have 5 drops.
We have
4
enough
and
5 drops
drops.
and a couple
Yeah.
of 6 drops and stuff like that, so no.
We are at
104.
anything else that jumps out at you guys that you think you just don't know if we need or is
What's the
overkill?
creatures at
I
now?
keep going back to Putrefax.
Which
I don't
one?
know why. That's the one trample haste, and you have to sacrifice it at the end of turn.
I mean, if it's
But-
also high CMC, I'm fine with pulling that.
See, I'm fine with pulling it too. The card, the reason that
We're at 20
Dana got
creatures.
me online with that card is the haste on it.
After a
Yes.
board wipe, like
Yeah.
I've
Right.
gotten hit with a bunch with hasty Putrefaxes before, and
Yep.
I mean, we're at 20 creatures right now, counting Roalesk.
I don't think if you cut the Putrefax or the whoever we're just talking
Yep.
about.
yeah,
Okay, I think that's good at 20 creatures because that's actually 19 in the deck, 1 commander.
yeah. So you want to cut that, or is there another one that you think is worse?
I'm kind of starting to go with Chris. We might have too much ramp.
Okay. Which one would you pull? Sky Shroud Claim? Or one of the Cultivate Kodama's Reach ones?
Well, I only put.
I would pull Sky Shroud Claim honestly because
We aren't
you can
running a lot of
only
duels.
get breeding pool.
That's true. It's the only duel you can get with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and
okay.
I only have Cultivate in here, not Kodama's Reach, because
Yeah,
I just did what Jamoka does.
Sure.
I cut one of them for our promise.
I would
Okay.
rather cut if we were gonna to tweak this deck to make
Yep.
it better. We don't have to do that right now. You know, this could be for a listener thing.
Right.
But in my honest opinion, you would cut Sky Shroud Claim and put in the
Kodama's Reach,
or whatever.
because it's going to get you basics.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
The
Evolution.
lower mana curve actually helps you out.
I would
better.
just cut Sky Shroud Claim
Yeah.
at this point.
And remember, Evolutionary Leap is a ramp spell if needed. It gets you
And
a
so is
basic
Fierce
to your
Whim.
hand.
Like it's not like we don't have a good
No.
bit of ramp in this
Yep.
deck. I would be tempted to cut right now, cut Sky Shroud Claim and cut Cultivate.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Because it was a 4 2-mana ramps, counting Evolution Charm,
Plus Soul Ring.
Plus Soul Ring.
Everflowing Chalice.
plus Everflowing Chalice, and then we have Pierce Whim and Our Promise at the 4 and 5 drop ramp slots.
And at least 1 mana Dork. I mean, it's not like amazing ramp, but I think it's probably good enough.
So Sky Shroud Claim and Cultivate.
Yep.
See ya.
103, 102.
102.
2 more to go. Okay, we can
can do
get,
this.
We can get this across the finish line. I'm trying to think. I was going to say Infinite Reflection, but it's a win. It's going to kill people.
I think we need those couple of win cons.
Yeah.
The late game where like
Yep.
no one's going to see that coming. Your commander's out there, not sure what, and all of a sudden you drop it and the game just ends.
Yep.
Is Brainstorm still in here?
I never added
Never
any
added
of
it.
those.
Okay. We do Factor Fiction, and I think Factor Fiction's almost always worth running.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to find us a win con for all we
Yeah.
know, or make people decide how to get our win con.
We do have Arcane Denial and Swan Song. We could pull the original Counterspell. Is Ritual's Expertise still in here?
Yes. No, it's not.
It's
I
not.
was gonna say, I don't think we added it.
I didn't put it on the sheet.
All right. Because we don't have an overabundance of removal.
No.
So we have Whisper Silk Cloak, Boots, and Greaves.
Yes.
We could cut one of the 3.
Boots, maybe? Because
Yep.
it actually does cost a mana to activate, and we don't target our own creatures single target enough that we would care, I
Roalesk
think.
is the only thing that's going to single target something,
Yeah.
and we're just going to put it on
Yeah.
on that.
All right, so cut Boots.
Cut Boots. Let me find it. There it is. 101.
Oh, one to go. Okay. Anything else? I don't want to hit our removal package too much.
I mean,
What do we have in there for
is
removal?
35 too low?
For what?
For lands?
Lands? We
What's-
could cut a
what's-
basic.
What's the average CMC of the deck?
Let's look.
It's lower than
5 ram spells.
You want to guess?
I'm going to guess the average CMC is 3.2.
3.28.
That's, I'm comfortable with that. I don't know if I'm
Go down
comfortable enough
to
to go to 35
35.
though.
Right.
I feel particularly because we're not sounding like we're running 35 and we have
Right.
12 ramp spells.
And we don't have like any fetches in here.
And there's no Vault or Crypt or Mox Diamond or like stuff like that that
Which
lets you
basic
cheat.
did you pull?
I didn't pull basic.
Oh,
We're still at 36 lands.
okay.
I'm just asked, would it be feasible for 35 lands in this deck, knowing that our CMC is 3.28?
I don't.
Sorry, 3.26 now. Not that made much.
What are the evolution charm modes again?
Basic to hand, card from your graveyard to your hand, creature gain flying.
Man, those are all useful in this deck.
Yep, we definitely want that.
Did you put the Simic Charm in there?
I did,
And Heroic Interventions in
and
there?
heroic intervention.
That's just good protection.
Yep, we need that.
I think I would be tempted to pull Counterspell.
I would agree with that because we have those extra protections.
Yeah.
And I think we're heavy green in this deck anyways.
Yeah.
We are 67% green.
Which basic did you wind up pulling when we pulled stuff?
We have 10 forest, 9 islands.
Okay, so that's a fine distribution.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think we pull Counterspell.
I'll agree with that.
Yep.
All right. We
did it!
We built a 100-card Infect deck.
In under 2 hours. I thought
Not
this was going to
bad.
take 2 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
This
We
deck
know
is
what
trash.
we're doing.
This deck is trash.
I can think of so many like tweaks I want to do already.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm going to obsess over it.
So, we did it, guys.
Yeah.
100-card deck for our 100th episode. We will be giving this away in the awesome wooden deck box provided by patron supporter David S.
Yes.
as our May giveaway. So this will be our giveaway for our patron supporters only in the month of May. So
If you're a supporter, by the end of the month,
you'll get entered.
you're entered in the contest. That's it. Full
Yeah.
stop.
So again, this is episode 100. We want to thank everybody.
Seriously, for like how long?
Almost
2
2
years
years
of doing this.
You guys suck.
This is insane. You guys are trash. This podcast trash.
And now
No, I love you guys. This is awesome.
I'm hired back, and now Chris is fired.
Right. No,
It's the
this is
first
like,
time I've been fired.
this is the most ridiculously fun hobby I've ever had. Like
Yes.
I can't believe we've been doing this for a year, and I can't wait to do 100 more.
Yeah, I was sitting at work today, and I'm like, oh, we're recording episode 100 in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
I'm still in a haze from Endgame, so
All right, I'm going tonight.
I'm like that every time we record.
Are
Dana's
you?
like, this
Yeah.
is episode X.
nice.
I got told. Yeah, Jenny bought tickets.
Nice.
She didn't tell me. It's a surprise.
Really?
So I'm going tonight. Yeah.
Now watch out for that Dr. Doom.
And with Declan, we're going tonight. So.
Nice. And then we're going in the morning.
Now we're going. Then you and I are going in the morning again.
It's a Bloody Mary morning.
Yes. And then we're going to the pre-release.
And then pre-release.
I'm busy all day. I'm busy all weekend.
Me too.
So
But no, again, thank you everybody, our
Yes,
listeners,
for
our
sure.
fans, family, friends, patron supporters especially, and Flipside Gaming too for helping us out
Yeah.
and getting our name out there.
other content creators, like I don't know what I expected going into this. Like if I thought,
CCO.
but like I didn't know if it was like a competitive scene among other shows or something. And
That's what I thought when we first started
Yeah,
this,
that's
way back when.
yes. And it's not. It's like been the opposite of that. Like there's so many
it
of these other
seems like
people
everyone supports
are
you.
super supportive, and they listen to your show and they retweet stuff, and that's been pretty amazing too. So thanks everybody for everything.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, that will wrap up episode 100. Thanks to our editor Ken Peddle. You can find him on Twitter at LOAD3R. Our podcast theme is Retro Future Dirty by Kevin MacLeod, licensed via Creative Commons. You can find me on Twitter at Dana Roach. You can find Max on Twitter at CMBR Central _Max. And you can find Chris at WiseSquishy1.
Woo!
We'll be back on Thursday with another Deck Tech. Until then, I am Dana.
I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.